Hi, everybody. We are live from Israel in an Israeli village called Beit Zayit. It is a moshav. It's not far from Jerusalem. So I am looking forward to taking you with me for a walk around the moshav so that you can see it. It's like virtual travel and will be a lot of fun. Always think it's nice discovering new places, and it's wonderful that we have the technology that allows us to connect across the miles. So looking forward to seeing everyone. I see Barbara's here. Hi. Destiny. Hi. Welcome. Please let me know where you are joining from. It's very exciting for me to always just see how many countries we have represented. As you can see, I'm wearing a hat because it has been so super sunny today. Even towards the later evening, you can have quite strong sunlight. But one thing you'll notice with Israelis, they almost always have a hat handy that they can put on because the sun is so strong here. And oftentimes there's just no shadows. So you have to really protect yourself. That and water. And in fact, today we received, or I received a message from the village where I live, that was alerting me that there is a heat advisory in this area for the next couple of days. And so they wanted to let us know, how to protect against dehydration, heat exhaustion, and things like that. So those of you who are in the southern hemisphere, I understand it's nice and chilly, beautiful winter weather. Over here in Israel, oh my gosh, everybody, it is sweltering hot. I make no promises that I'm not going to melt while we're together for the live. Give a shout out, let me know where you're joining from, and we'll get started in just one moment. See, people are joining. This is terrific. Thank you so much for coming for a walk with me today. I hope that where you are, it's cooler than where I am. But either way, it will be fun for us to adventure together through the moshav. One of the things that I want to do with our time together when we're live is just show you Israel, little elements of Israel that are so special, that are beautiful, that are not typically seen, Sometimes like a moshav like this, you wouldn't necessarily visit it if you were on a tour of Israel. So right now, I'm standing in the center of the moshav. And I'm just going to orient you to this board behind me over here. I'm going to step out of the frame so you can see it. Okay? So this is a map of the moshav. So you can see it's not very big. We are, of course, over here. That's us. And, what's happening with the dinosaur? We're going to check that out in a little bit. Everything's sort of in a circle. And this is the direction now towards Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Moshav Beit Zayit is really not far from Jerusalem. We're about 7 kilometers west of Jerusalem where I'm standing now. So the adjacency is really nice for people that live here because they can get into the city if they need to, but then they also have this beautiful nature around them. I'm just going to turn in a circle, and again, I'll step out of the camera frame so that you can see the circle, this in the center of the moshav. So you're looking at residential over here. You can see a beautiful olive tree in front of you. And then just turning around, you see lots of green, lots of trees. And hidden in this tree right in front of you is a green parrot. There are quite a lot of green parrots on this particular moshav. It's always exciting to see them. So just 7 kilometers west of Jerusalem, the name Beit Zayit actually means, Beit means house, and Zayit means olive. So literally, it's olive house. And in the early days of the moshav, olive trees were planted. There's still some beautiful groves of olive trees here. People make olive oil. Just at the entrance of the moshav, there are some grapevines growing. People make wine from it. So as I walk up here, I'm going to turn again so that you can see the water tower, which is really in the center of the moshav. Do you see that? And right now, of course, it is dressed in flags. Following October the 7th, a lot of flags went up in all of the communities around Israel, and this one is no different. So this was the original water tower for the moshav, and it sort of marks the center of this particular village. And I'm walking up because there is a little house here that I love it. Whenever I come here and I see this little house, there's just something unique and beautiful about it, but it's built in the style of all those years ago. So I'm just going to walk across the street so that you can see it. And here, just in case you didn't know where you were, check it out. We are in the village center. And now you see the sun. It's still quite bright, even though it's towards evening. I will say it is cooling down. Earlier today it was like, wow, hot. So I'm going to cross the street over here, and then I'm going to step out of the frame so that you can see this house. It is so precious. It's really, really adorable. Can you see that? It is so cute. And next to it, look at that beautiful old olive tree. You know that guy's been around for a long time, but I find this little house enchanting. And one of the things that's beautiful about Israel is old and new live side by side. And this particular moshav was established following the Independence War. So it was in 1949. And it was primarily established with immigrants who came from Egypt, some from Europe, from Romania, some Holocaust survivors, some from Poland. And at the time, it wasn't as awesome of a location as it is now. In 1949, this was actually quite a dangerous place to live because we are surrounded by the Jerusalem forest. And so it was very open. It was just following the war. And these people who lived here were very exposed, so they really were creating kind of a security buffer for those who lived in Jerusalem. So at the time, it was brave souls who moved here, and now, all these years later, 75 years later, many of the people who live in Beit Zayit are actually descendants of those original settlers, which is really amazing. But I would say around the 1990s, Beit Zayit went through something of a regentrification. People came from outside, were able to buy land and build houses. There was some renovation done to existing houses. And it became actually a very desirable place to live. And especially for people who needed a little bit of space, who wanted a garden, it really was kind of a great place to move to. I'll show you behind me. I love this scene as well. You've got palm trees. You've got flowers, olive trees. It's just lovely. And for those who don't have their own personal car, there is bus service that goes from here to Jerusalem or to the other city that's close by, which is Mevaseret Zion. And I'm actually standing just right in front of the bus stop. So you'll see behind me some people by the water tower, the bus stop. They're waiting to take the bus. So even though it's sort of still quite rural and remote, you can get around easily, which is really, really nice. So let's continue our walk. I'm going to show you some more things. So in case you're wondering what exactly a moshav is, a moshav kind of grew out of the kibbutz movement. Kibbutz, where everything is shared. Moshavs were a little bit more autonomous, but they still were farming villages. So you had access to kind of mutual cooperation. You could share resources together, but at the same time have your own endeavor, a little bit more autonomy with your family. So moshavs are really quite nice. They were agricultural. Like Kfar Etzion, where we have the Lev Haolam office, this moshav had chickens. They raised chickens for eggs. There were also orchards for fruit trees, primarily. Since then, of course, there still is agriculture here, but this is now just sort of more like I guess I would compare it to a suburb in a bigger city, but just one that's totally independent and really, really rather beautiful. I also just want to show you behind me the flowers, just amazing. So take a look at this. There's flowers, wildflowers, there's sage. Earlier in the spring, there's lots and lots of lavender, so it smells really beautiful. One of the things about Israel that I really love is this sort of a passion for planting, this passion for flowers, this passion for trees. And it really, whenever I see that, I really feel like it's such an investment for future generations. And it just shows how Israelis are thinking forward. They're thinking about the next generation that's going to come. You know, building water towers, planting trees. And here is another olive tree. You see lots and lots of beautiful olive trees. Now this little area is unique. This is sort of the hub of commerce, I guess, or human activity. There is a branch of Clalit, which is one of the medical, I'm trying to think of the words, like kind of like an insurance group, but it's a medical group, I think is a better way to put it. So that is right here on the Moshav. So if you're a person who lives here, that's a good medical group for you to participate in because, of course, you can get easily to see the doctor and to have help. Now, this building over here that is attached to the water tower, right after the attack of October the 7th, this turned into a collection point where we were able to donate a lot of clothing and household items. Lev Haolam donated some, food items, snacks, and those types of things to people who had been displaced by the attack that were sort of internal refugees within Israel. It is normally a shared work area, which is also very cool. So if you live here and you work from home, which many people do now, you don't have to sit at home all alone. You can come up here to the center and you can work in here with other people. It's nice desks. It's air conditioned. It's got everything that you need. I want to show you something else that's really unique. Take a look at who is hidden in the flower bed. It's a baby dinosaur. So remember we saw the dinosaur earlier? Well, the mystery continues. Another dinosaur. We will sort this out before we part ways a little bit later. We're going to figure out why this moshav in the middle of Israel has dinosaurs and dinosaur eggs. Very, very strange. Now I'm going to step out of the frame again so that you can take a look, because this little walk that I'm taking is going to lead us right into the community center of the moshav. So I'm going to turn it like this, and we'll walk together. So you'll see again lots of beautiful flowers, roses, wildflowers. There is a community board. So if you need to advertise something, an event coming up, you can do it here. Something else that we see in Israel, you'll see the black and white sign over here. Those are always a little bit hard because that means that somebody has passed away. So when somebody passes away, their family will post these so that people know that the person has passed, but also it gives the dates and times that that family will be sitting Shiva. So in Jewish custom, we sit Shiva for 7 days after a loved one has passed. During that time, friends and family come to visit you, give you comfort, just show their strength and their support for you, which is really a very beautiful tradition. Okay, so here we are in the center of the moshav. And you'll see, of course, we're looking towards the west. You can see the sun Somebody is out with their dog, having a nice evening time. During the school year, this green area in the center is usually filled with just dozens and dozens of little children, their parents. They'll be here playing, just enjoying the evening together, letting the kids get the energy out before they have to go home and have dinner, do homework, that type of thing. Right now in the summertime, why there is nobody here is the Moshav has a community swimming pool. So that is where the action is happening. The swimming pool is just outside of the Moshav it's called the pool in the forest. So you can imagine, it's just surrounded by trees. It's very beautiful. And everybody who lives here who wants to take advantage of the pool pays a nominal sum to have a membership, and they're able to go and swim through the summer. It's really nice. They have swimming lessons. The kids can go and learn to swim. It's just really very, very nice, right? And I want to say, as you're standing here with me, you can see how it really does feel like we have a parallel existence in Israel in some ways. This is really peaceful. It's really beautiful. And yet at the same time, you know, we're aware of the fact that the whole country is not peaceful right now. So I'm going to walk inside this building behind me. I just want to show it to you. So in here is a lovely mosaic that was made. I want you to see it. And as you can see, the mosaic is an olive tree. Why would it be anything different in Beit Zayit? And then over here on the other side of me is the post office. So that is called the Doar Yisrael. And there's also a beautiful red post box, if you don't see that so much anymore. So now let's take a walk into the center. There are three beautiful olive trees that we have right here in the center. See this one behind me? Gorgeous old trunks. And whenever I see them, you guys, I want to come up, and I sometimes do a little bit crazy, give the olive tree the old hug, because I always just think, you know, imagine the stories that this tree could tell us, right? I mean, I feel like olive trees, olive wood, it's so metaphoric for Israel. It tells the story of Israel, and really it also tells the story of, look at this, rejuvenation, this little bit growing here. It tells the story of all of us coming together, and of selflessness. You know, the olive tree gives us olive oil, gives us wood and shade and beauty. Really is a tremendous tree. Now I'm going to bring you to a tree that is very, very special. And this tree is telling an immediate story. You see all the yellow ribbons. Some of you might remember the song, "Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree." Well, in Israel, tie a yellow ribbon around the olive tree. But these yellow ribbons represent all of our citizens who are currently still being held captive. It's a very long time for them to have been held captive, and none of us forget. And this is one of those things I showed you in Jerusalem, that there was the wall with all the posters in Jerusalem. Here we are, we have it right in the middle of the community area where everybody passes, so that we can always be reminded. And I'm just seeing here that you used to pluck the olives when you were in Cyprus. Yes, Greece also. Cyprus, Greece, they have amazing olives and olive oil also. This beautiful tree here. You'll see there is a canopy. As I mentioned earlier, it's very, very hot in Israel, and it's very open, so we don't have so much shade. So for children who do want to play outside, you know what? A little bit of shade. So they can come out, they can play on the grass with their family. A little earlier this evening when I arrived, I saw that there were some people playing, which I think is lovely. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in in the sort of off seasons that are not summer, families are here in the center, children playing. So there's swings here for the kids so that they can swing. There's even, you'll see here, I'm going to walk over here, a little table tennis so that you can play some table tennis. It really is designed to bring the community together. You know, we live in a time where we're all so distant from one another. And what I think is beautiful about this moshav, and it's really, honestly, this is similar to many moshavim all through Israel, is that they really are designed to support the community and to bring the community together and to create spaces that everybody can come and enjoy and have community. I'll turn here. Hope you can see this. Far up behind the tent are some buildings, if you can see those. That is a neighborhood called Har Nof, which sits just above Beit Zayit. And that also is pretty recent. Har Nof started to be developed in a big way in the 80s. So a lot of growth in Israel. I'm walking you now to the synagogue. So it's a Jewish town, of course. We have a synagogue. So here behind me, it's a very modest building, of course, as you would expect. This was a farming community for decades. So a modest building, but inside is a very active, vibrant community synagogue. So in Israel, we call it the Beit Knesset. And this is where people come to pray several times a day. During the Corona time, when people couldn't be indoors, what was very nice for this community is this became their synagogue. So they were still able to have services together, times like Rosh Hashanah, where you need to hear the shofar, or Yom Kippur, where you really need to be with your community. They still were able to have community time together. So really very, very cool. So I want to know who would like to move. Who wants to come and live on Moshav Beit Zayit? I mean, just there's so many moments of beauty. Take a look at this. Just a little secret stairway. It's lovely. It's really, really lovely. And this center area too is used for ceremonies on Yom Ha'atzmaut, on our Independence Day, on Yom HaZikaron, on the Memorial Day for Israel. We have the community having services right here, memorial services. Everybody comes to the center so that they can be together and so that they can support one another. And here you'll see a statue in memory of a member of the Beit Zayit community who fell. So it's interesting. Israel, so much joy, so much life. You can see design for life, design for family. But at the same time, there's always a touch of sadness there as well, because there's always, you know, some challenges. You can see here, somebody's out visiting with his dog, gorgeous dog. Girls enjoying some quiet time together on the grass. Okay, I'm just going to see. How far is this from Tel Aviv or Jerusalem? Rachel, from Jerusalem it's really close. It's like 7 kilometers. So by car, it's about 10, 15 minutes, depending on where in Jerusalem you're going to go to. From Tel Aviv, it's a little bit further. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to get to Tel Aviv. But because Tel Aviv is such a big city, you have a lot of congestion coming in, which can add time to the journey. But in terms of, is it easy to get there? Yes, you just straight on Highway 1 and you're there. If any of you are thinking, gosh, this is a place I'd love to visit or stay on a trip to Israel, you can. In Israel, we have what are called a tzimmer or tzimmerim. They're kind of like country cottages that you can rent. They're little small places. They're usually in rural, beautiful places. I know that Beit Zayit has a couple of tzimmerim, so it is a place that you can stay. And I want you to see behind me over here. Let's just walk around. We've got an orange tree. Is there fruit? Nope. Okay. There is, but it's high up. I think it would be hard to show you. So let's just keep walking around. Okay. So now we're walking away from the center part where the beautiful garden was. And we're coming now to a very important part of any town, the market. So in Israel, we call it the makolet. And it's funny because this market, the owner is called Colette. Now, I don't think anybody will mind if we step in, and I can show it to you if you'd like that. So on the outside, you have all the beverages. I'm just going to walk down the line so you can see them. I always find this interesting when I travel. I kind of like to see, what are people drinking? How does it look? You'll see some familiar things, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, everywhere in the world. You see local breweries like Spara. And then this comes out in the summertime. You'll see inside delicious ices. It's not uncommon after you've been to the pool to stop for a nice icy. So let's sneak in, you guys, and see. I'll just show you the inside. Okay, so this is what an Israeli makolet looks like. I suppose it looks like it looks anywhere in the world, but you've got your fresh produce, lots of delicious fresh produce. You have all of the necessities, cleaning supplies, olive oil, of course, I'll show you. So lots of olive oil, but still I promise you the farmers that we work with at Lev Haolam really produce the best olive oil in all of Israel. And then something that when I came to Israel was really overwhelmed by was the dairy section. So I'm going to show you this. This is the dairy section, and there's so much happening here. There's yogurt, and then what I thought was yogurt, but it turns out it's called shemanit, which is kind of like sort of a sour cream. And then when I thought I was getting shemanit, I was actually buying lavana, which is like a white liquid cheese. Crazy. So it's an adventure. Anyway, this is the Beit Zayit local makolet. And of course, you know it's summer because watermelons. Israelis really love watermelon. So, all right, I'm going to step outside and show you something else that's very typical of an Israeli village. And that is this little building behind me. It's called a sephria. It's a little library. So everything in here is donated, and anybody can come and take a book. So they have books in English also, because there are English speakers in the community. Lots of these are all children's books, lots of travel books, and then Hebrew books. I've even seen Spanish and Russian books, and excuse me, recipe books. So you can pop in, you can donate books, you could borrow a book and just bring it back when you're done. But isn't that lovely? So again, just all about the community. It's all about sharing the resources, making life better for everybody. And I spied, look at this, guys. You see that? It's an orange. Not yet ripe, but soon it will be. Okay. Now we do still have this issue of the dinosaur to figure out. So I want to bring you to the next destination. So here, of course, is parking. But again, look at the trees. So much beauty, so many flowers. It is lovely. And this area sort of stays busy because there are people coming in and out to go to the market. And there is also really a very popular restaurant here, which I'll take you past that so you can see it. And let's just walk across the street. Look at this beautiful bougainvillea. I mean, it's just amazing, right? So much beauty. So much beauty. And because this is a place that's all about family, it's all about community, we have the sign that says, Pay attention, there's children. And then I just noticed this actually, as we were walking by. Look at that, a fig tree. So, you know, the Bible really, no joke, the Bible comes to life no matter where you go in Israel. You see something that just enlivens the Bible for you. You know, one of the 7 species of Israel just growing like, hey, I'm just a fig tree growing. I love it. And again, I'm going to walk down now. You'll see more olive trees. Now you understand how Beit Zayit got its name. Behind me, there's a fence here, but behind me is a preschool. So this is where little kids come during the day. And it's cute. Look at this. Looks like a little pretend market. You could play shop. Sounds good to me. And as we walk down, more olive trees. And you'll see behind me, this is behind the makolet that we were inside earlier. So they're doing a delivery right now. Israel's a very busy place. It just doesn't stop. It's towards the end of the day. People are still working. And I was just seeing if there's a way to go here, and there is. Okay. Now, I wanted to show you this. So I think you can figure it out. Like, eek, gotta go somewhere. This is the sign that tells us how to get to the miklat, which is the shelter. Because this is a community that was established so many years ago, not all of the homes have safe rooms. So in the case of rocket fire or something like that, you need to be able to get to a shelter. So there are community shelters built throughout the Moshav. Okay, I'm going to cross the street. Now I'm on a street called Hagefen, which Geffen is a vine, a grapevine, and is very cute. This is also sort of like a little hub of activity. Behind me, actually I'll walk in so you can see it. I think around the world, food trucks have become quite popular. And there is a lovely little food truck just right behind the olive tree. This is a great place that busy families can come for a very tasty, casual bite in the evenings. They don't have to do their cooking, which is lovely. Now, we're going to take a step across the way and see that it says dinosaur site. Dinosaur site? What on earth is that? And there's even a dinosaur. Let's go get a closer look at this guy. He looks quite fierce, but quite interesting. So over here, it's called the dinosaur site, and there is the dinosaur, him or herself. And actually, it's really rather remarkable. In 1962, one of the members of the Beit Zayit community was doing some gardening. Her house was back this direction, and this was the garden. And she was doing some gardening, and as she was working, she noticed some kind of print embedded into the stone. So she called Hebrew University. They came out and took a look, and they identified that those were dinosaur prints that were in the stone. Why this is such a big deal is that this is the only place in Israel that evidence of dinosaurs has been found. There's very little evidence of dinosaurs in the Middle East as it is, but for us to have one right here in Israel, and here it is in Beit Zayit, you can go and see it, it's really very cool. So that is the answer to all of the dinosaurs that we saw. And now, I'm going to walk us across the street. You'll see an Israeli flag. And this is a very popular restaurant. It is called Derech Hagefen. Of course, because we're on Hagefen. If you look over here, there's the sign. And they are known for their amazing Israeli breakfast. So if you do come to Israel, even if you're staying in Jerusalem, this is a place that's so cool to come and visit that you won't necessarily see in a guidebook. It's an amazing kosher dairy restaurant, so you get amazing Italian pastas and salads. The food is just so good. They have a wonderful wine list. They grow some of their own vegetables right here in the garden. They also have a little greenhouse where they sell flowers, so you can buy flowers. And on Friday mornings, of course Friday is the day before Shabbat, it's very busy. Families come, they meet each other here, they get together for a good Israeli breakfast. And as you know, Israeli breakfast is nothing like it in the world. It's so delicious. You have lots of dips, you have olives, eggs, maybe you have shakshuka, maybe you have scrambled eggs, you have cheeses, Israeli salad made with, cucumbers and tomatoes. Really, really so good and so popular. So now, just to orient you to where we are, here is the water tower that we saw when we first began taking our walk together. And I'm just going to walk back to the center so that you can see just the little circle that we took. We took a circle in the heart of this community, which is just lovely. So I hope that you enjoyed taking this walk today, had a chance to see something that people don't normally see. Again, the water tower with the flag. I always feel so proud when I see the Israeli flag. It really is lovely. And just a nice Israeli community. And you're invited. You're welcome. We would love you to come and visit. And if you do, give me a buzz. I can let you know where to go and just enjoy it. So you guys, thank you for spending time with me this evening. Thank you for enjoying this beautiful slice of Israeli life with me. It's honestly really a privilege and a pleasure to share the country that I love so much with you, who also love it so much. So look forward to seeing you next week. And cute little family, we will have more to talk about then. So everybody, thank you for sharing Israel with me. Bye.